Welcome to IDLM Presents, honest conversations on end of life. Here we open the door to compassionate, open dialogue about life's final journey. Join us as we explore insights from professionals, caregivers, and those directly touched by end of life experiences. Together, we aim to demystify, inform, and support each other through stories, knowledge, and understanding that every conversation brings us closer to honoring life in all its stages. As we continue to celebrate National Hospice Month, we're excited to spotlight one of our valued partnerships. Today's featured guest is Tracey Jaworski-Lucas, RN. Welcome, everyone. As we continue to celebrate our National Hospice Month, we're excited to continue spotlighting one of our valued partnerships with the International Doula Life Movement. Today, we're going to talk about the Karen Ann Quinlan Home for Hospice with our guest, Tracey, who's a registered nurse at the Home for Hospice. Tracey, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi, Anna. I'm so happy to be here too.
Wonderful. Well, could you start off by sharing what led to the creation of the Karen Ann Quinlan Home for Hospice?
Well, as you know, Karen Ann Quinlan fell into a coma in 1975. She needed to be on a respirator to help her breathe because she was in a vegetative state. And after a long legal battle with media attention, she was removed from the respirator. She lived almost 10 more years. And during that time, the Quinlans realized there was a better way for people to die with comfort, peace, and dignity. They did establish a hospice in 1980. And during that time, seeing the need for better care for those at the end of life, the Quinlans were committed to learning how that could be done. They traveled to England where they could learn about hospice care. It was in England that the physician Dame Cicely Saunders was a leader in the hospice movement, and she established the first modern hospice in 1967 called the St. Christopher's Hospice. The Quinlans were mentored by Dame Cicely Saunders in the U.S., and while working with her, the Quinlans realized the hospice model of care was what was needed in our area. The Quinlans were supported by local doctors and other supporters, and they opened the Karen Ann Quinlan Hospice in 1980. It was staffed originally by volunteers, and it was located in Newton Medical Center. As the hospice grew and became firmly grounded within the community in our area, they had envisioned a clinical setting that felt like home for those in hospice and that couldn't remain in their own home setting. Since they were firmly established in the community, Julia Quinlan knew in order to have a home for hospice, she would need the support of the community. And through fundraising, donations, sponsorships, and pledges, the Home for Hospice came to fruition. It opened in 2014.
Wow. So it's been open for quite some time now. That's amazing. And I've been able to been lucky enough to be there actually several times. Did it the first time the tour, which was amazing. And then going back in where we host our graduations for our Karen Ann Quinlan Navigator program that y'all offer in partnership with IDLM with the training. And so I have to say, I really, really enjoy being there. It's so, so peaceful there at the home. It's lovely. I recommend everybody to go and see it, and also to check out the website, because your website links over, they click the Home for Hospice front page, you'll be able to see some videos and kind of get a little bit of an inside view. But again, it's amazing to see in person.
Yes.
What challenges do you think that they faced during the early days of opening the Home for Hospice?
Well, initially it was the fundraising. They needed to make sure that they could build the home that they had wanted. So, like I said, they were firmly grounded in this community, and the community knew what Karen Ann Quinlan Hospice could offer to them. So getting the fundraising to build the home, and then they wanted to ensure that it was built the way that they had envisioned it to be, which was, a home that could offer the clinical needs of those at the end of life. they wanted it really to be a homey setting.
Right. And it does look like a home. When you drive up to the Home for Hospice, you would never really probably ever know that it was a Home for Hospice. You walk in and you have a kitchen area for families. You have a beautiful living room with a fireplace that is an active fireplace.
Mhm.
You also have the bedrooms for the patients there. Beautiful rooms that open up to, what is it, a horse farm on the bottom?
Yes, the Clems, it was their farm. They worked with Julia Quinlan. It's the Water Wheel Farm. And they worked with Julia Quinlan to lay it out the way that it looks. And
Yeah.
the horses on that farm will come up to the Home for Hospice in at any time, and it's beautiful. And that's such a they provide such good energy to the setting.
They do. I mean, it's just beautiful to be able to know that you can open these double doors to patients could be even rolled out. Is that correct?
Yes, every room on that side of the house can be opened up, and we can push the beds out, or they can go out in a recliner or walk out sometimes too. But they go out there and they can see the beautiful view, and it could be any time of the year. We've brought them out in the winter time too, if they want to. It's up to them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, wouldn't that be a peaceful way? That's what I always said, man, I would just, if I have the opportunity to uh know what I'm dying, that would be where I would want to be, just to be able to go and open, and depending whatever that season was, to go out to be able to see the horses, to see the beautiful views that are out there. What are some other rooms that you can help me share with the audience that you have there? Because I know that there is something towards one of the sides in the back. Is that the
It's
what?
it's the meditation room we have in the back, and you can go there to pray or just relax. I love it. I feel like it's the most centered room in the house, and it goes off into a garden. So you can always have the doors opened and go and sit out into the garden out there. It's just beautiful. Um, Sometimes families like to go in there and have family meetings. It just because of the peaceful nature of the room. And then sometimes chaplains will go in there as well with the family or patients. So it's a really good spot in the house.
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful. And I remember butterflies that are around, all around, actually around the house, that you'll see. Um, and just offhand, do you know the significance of why they have the butterflies around the house?
The transition from one life into the other, just the way that a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. We
Hmm.
do have a butterfly blanket that was made, and the tradition started by Beth Sylvester. She was the first administrator of the home, and she had it where a tradition started where you can put the blanket over um, the person as they're being walked out of the building once the funeral home comes and takes them. So we all walk out with that blanket on the person, and we remove it once they're about to leave us to go with the funeral home. So it gives us a minute to appreciate what happened, and also appreciate the work that we do.
Hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I also know that too, that there's going back a little bit to the meditation room, that depending on when the sun is going, the direction will also beam some. When I was there, it beamed some beautiful lighting, almost reminded me of a rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
Way that it comes through the fence line there. It's just amazing, amazing. Um, so yeah, I think it's a major part of y'all's community there. Um, what kind of services does the Karen Ann Quinlan Home for Hospice provide for patients and their families at the home?
Well, in order to come there, you do need to be on hospice services. So we
Mhm.
provide all the, typical hospice services, according to the hospice philosophy. But um, when they're living there or staying there, they're treated as family, and we are their family members. It's their home. But we do have volunteers that come in. We have pet therapy, musicians, poetry readers, um, Reiki providers, aromatherapy. We have those volunteers and they come in a lot. So with us working there as their family, the volunteers coming in, um, I feel like it just enhances the homey feel that they're feeling that they are in their own home. So
Yeah.
that is part of it. We do have the social workers that come and, do their social work. The chaplain visits, of course. Sometimes we have the priest or rabbi come, things like that.
So just really meeting the families wherever they're at to offering that dignified care during that end of life journey that they're going through and helping to foster the environment as well for the patient's family, and the patient themselves as well.
Yes, yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How does the Karen and Quinlan Home for Hospice continue to honor and reflect on Karen's legacy in the day-to-day work that you all do there?
For me, I see her picture in the front entranceway, and I use it to remember why I am at Karen and Quinlan Hospice every single day that I go there. I remember that I want to give my patients, our patients, the greatest end of life experience that they could possibly have. The family, everything that they went through, um, made such changes in end of life care. The advocacy from the family to promote great end of life care pushes me to push my coworkers or my Home for Hospice family to do the best work that we can do. So
Oh,
she's an influence in my life every single day.
and we've also talked about this too. It's a push to remind everyone about doing those advanced directives, about how important it is to have your vigil planning book. With our doulas,
Mhm.
they can work with them in helping them to create that visual planning, to setting the stage for their end of life journey. And is there anything that you all do there that's a little bit maybe something special, some rituals? Because I know that y'all shared in the last couple of cohorts some special rituals that that y'all do at the Home for Hospice.
Well, I mean, we do, when someone dies and the funeral home is coming, we do get the blanket out with the butterflies, and we do lay it over the stretcher as the patient is being wheeled out. We all come together, we stop what we're doing, and we all walk the patient out with the funeral director. And at that point, we really consider what had happened, just take a break and realize the miracle actually of death.
Mhm.
Um, Aside from that, the aides usually have the doors opened. We open the doors to the room that they're in, and that is concerning their death. That's what we do for their death. But on the other hand, some things that we contribute to make the house more homey and that we're all family in the house is we have little birthday celebrations. We have Christmas celebrations. We had a baby shower. And everybody's invited. The patients are invited if they can and they want to. We get them there so they're present during this. And I have to say, a lot of the stuff that we do revolves around food. So there's no way for anybody to be on a diet if you're going to the Home for Hospice.
Well, and it's just I love the fact that you incorporate, like you said, being family and sharing things that are going on um with the patients there too, so that it is like they're at their own home and there's a celebration, things that we normally do in our own personal homes still happen in the Home for Hospice. So
Mm.
it's amazing. It's amazing. In your opinion, what is the most important thing people should understand about hospice care and end of life services?
I think overall, the community and other healthcare providers, nurses, aides, everyone is still trying to understand what hospice means overall,
Mhm.
which is, giving optimum comfort for people at the end of life. But that doesn't mean that we accelerate death in any way. Hospice truly is about living. So we do everything in our power to give people the highest quality of life. We want them to be as comfortable as can be. We don't do anything that would possibly accelerate that or, speed up the dying process.
Right. And it's just about making sure that they're comfortable and letting their final journey be whatever it is that they may want it to be.
Yes.
Absolutely. You know, I have to ask because I know you've been there for quite some time with Karen and Quinlan Hospice, and the Home for Hospice, but what are your hopes for the future for Karen and Quinlan Home for Hospice and the impact as well that it will continue to have in the future?
I'm hoping that we can continuously have it filled, um, to give many people the opportunity to have a stay there, whether it be a short stay through respite, or, to live there at the end of life. But this past year, we've been able to really give nursing students an opportunity to see what hospice truly is. And I think that's a good start to helping the community and other healthcare providers know what hospice truly is when they see it firsthand. So I honestly would love to see more nursing students come and do their clinics there or, follow us around just so that they can feel more comfortable. I think it's going to be through them that we'll see um, people be more comfortable when the time comes that they may need hospice, not so afraid. And doctors may not be so afraid to refer, or even nurses when they see people in the hospital setting that really are heading towards death, but are still getting, futile treatments.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's important work that y'all do there. And so I hope more people do come by and, they're, like you said, the students coming in through as well and taking that time to share with y'all to get to kind of see what everybody's role is there at the Home for Hospice and through hospice in general too. Would you mind sharing with our listeners what your biggest achievements have been or achievement has been through working with Karen Ann Quinlan Hospice and the Home for Hospice?
Okay. I feel like since I've been a supervisor, I have been with Karen and Quinlan Hospice for 3 years now. I became a supervisor a few months after I started working there. And as soon as I started, I knew that I wanted everyone in the house to feel like family so that we could be the family members to whoever came in there. So I did start with a good communication tool, which was called the Daily Report, the Home for Hospice Daily Report. And this way, if we're not at home at the Home for Hospice, they would be able to know what was happening while they weren't there. Some employees work, 5 days a week, some only work 3 days a week, some only two. So I felt that it was important to start this daily report so that they knew what was happening when they weren't home with their family. I also wanted to have us realize that we were family members, so I call them my Home for Hospice family and remind them that we are family. So, the patient can be treated like a family member too. And I just feel like that is going to give everyone a good experience, even us who are providing the work, providing the care to these patients. We really care about them. So with that family feel, I think we can do the best job that we can do.
I think that's what really makes it different being there at the Home for Hospice is that family atmosphere, that family connection that y'all build with those patients that come in and stay with you all, whether, like you said earlier, whether it's through respite or if they're coming there to live out their final journey there. So I think that's really, really important. So if any of our listeners would like to support or have that feeling, that calling to support Karen Ann Quinlan Home for Hospice, I'd like to invite you. The link will be down below. You can definitely click the link and make a donation through their website. Tracey, thank you so much for joining me today and sharing more about the Karen Ann Quinlan Home for Hospice. We really, really appreciate you helping us to get this word out and to share about y'all's wonderful home that you all have.
Thank you so much for having me.